Bojangles intersection are the two areas where
Yeah,
you're going to be basically impacting the water line.
yeah,
So I think this area, Brian wanted to have a little more discussion about at some point, just because some concerns about what's going on as far as moving curb and how much work is actually going on there at
okay,
the intersection, so that we know if we what we need to adjust, because currently the valve is in the curb, right, of 58. So it's already a little bit in conflict, but it looks like there's some other stuff going on behind the curb that may need us to do some work in there.
yeah. So the new design is shifting the curb and gutter out here. So your existing valve right here at that point will be in the roadway. So that'll help with that. If we can manage to just leave that a vertical adjustment, that'll help that valve. um, so yeah.
I guess my biggest concern is where you're putting in like new storm drainage and things like that, the
Mm-hmm.
conflicts we may have, and if you've got any structures like overhead
Yeah.
signage or anything like that going in that are going to be in conflict, we
Yeah.
need to we need to adjust for that, because we weren't.
Yeah.
I don't think we were anticipating working this far back away from the intersection previously.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we were doing was right around the 2458 intersection.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, we are putting a box in right here on this existing 24, and it looks like your existing water line goes right under that proposed box location, um, with where the new curb line is. So yeah, that'll be an area. I don't know how deep the water line is through there. If it's deep enough, because this will be a fairly fairly shallow box, I would think. But we can get the inverts on that.
Yeah, so I mean, my intention is basically to take the drawings you send us, and we'll get them in AutoCAD from you guys, and we'll take them and go through and identify conflicts that we see. We know the water line's pretty deep in here because DOT, the last time they did work, they were so helpful in putting the water line back. They put it in really deep for us, so it's really easy to get to. Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so but that being said, I'm not so sure that West Carteret necessarily wants a water line running underneath storm drainage, that they can't access, especially in this area where we've
yeah.
got right there at a T that goes across to 058.
Okay.
So we just need to look at that, and if you can send me your storm drainage plans, we can just, see where we're at depth wise. And
Yep.
Brian and those guys, I think they know they've done some digging out here in the past 4 or 5 years because of Bojangles and other stuff that's developed out there. So they know kind of where the main is, but
hmm
we still need to get vertical,
Yeah. So
comfortable with the vertical.
I have all of the CAD files uploaded onto a share file. I can send you the
Okay.
link to that now. It is DOT, so they're in MicroStation. Can you convert those?
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
Okay. All right. I'll send you the link after this meeting. I'll send you the link.
So I think for us that obviously from the Bojangles Park, from the Bojangles Drive all the way back to um, 58 is our main concern.
Right.
Originally what we intended to do was to go in there on the. I always get my east and west mixed up in West Carteret. On the
West.
west side, um, we think that the 12-inch main, we just put in a new 12-inch main going across there. I think me and Brian have decided that that's going to be fine. We
Is
shouldn't
this
have any impact. Yeah, that's it.
that's the 12-inch?
And again, we just need to check vertical separation with some of the stuff you're doing. Um, and but going uh,
West to
east
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 here.
from there,
Yeah.
going east from there, our concern is basically that off ramp that you're doing and the
hmm
other stuff, trying to figure out what to do with the water line there and the conflicts with your storm drainage. So originally we had thought about just taking the water line and pulling it out, out away from that work so that we wouldn't have conflicts, and then either directional drilling or putting that water line in casing through there.
Okay.
Um, so that's just the decision we need to sit. I'll sit down with Brian and Lisa and figure out what exactly they want to do in there. But we thought about, our intention was to bring it, to shift it, south away from the intersection some, to get it past kind of those drainage boxes that you've got along,
Yeah.
58 now, and just
Yeah.
get them out of that conflict area.
Yeah. Okay, so you were thinking about shifting the line to the south right here.
Yeah, and getting it past like that. If you go straight down that box you've got right there on the, right there, getting it south of that, so that we're missing all those conflicts, and then just getting back in and tied it back around, and then also not knowing the new storm drainage and stuff that you're doing on the east side of that intersection down there. Trying to figure out how we're going to manage around that, and with your curb line shifting, we wanted to get that water line out from under the pavement in that area.
Okay, so would you think you would tie in here at your 12-inch?
Yeah, I think we would tie in before that 12-inch, so we can leave that 12-inch, but you're close. We would tie in before that 12-inch. He's got an inline valve there. He's got some inline valving to help us. We're still gonna have to shut it down, but we can tie in that area, and basically from there back to around to in front of the McDonald's, probably shift that line.
Yeah. So you're thinking something like this, come down, and then you want to be behind the curb line.
Oh yeah.
You probably want to tie in back about right here.
Yeah, I mean, if we can, if you've got enough right of way, I think you got plenty of right of way.
Yeah, the right of way line is way out here. Right of way was purchased for the future interchange.
Right.
Well, let's chat about that. Do you know? So, if we're going through relocating this, of course they didn't know when they relocated it that we were going to be doing this that many years ago. So we're relocating it again. So, is there any thoughts about the future so that whatever decisions are made aren't just what we want to be done, but they also don't conflict with what is planned in the future, so it has to be relocated a third time?
Right. I will see if I can find if DOT has some kind of future build out plan for that. I would assume, I don't know which one would be the over move at that point. So I'll try to find that out and see if they have anything at all on the books of actually building an interchange here.
Okay.
So the other thing, what we've done in the past in thinking about this for other utilities is basically where you've got that line shown, just kind of cutting across. We've actually moved it on out to like within 10 feet of the right of way as it is now, and then gone across. And when we put it in as a directional drill, it normally ends up being deeper than what is in conflict with a lot of things, and we don't have to move it again. But if you do have any indication of what's going to go on at that intersection, that'll, I think ultimately that'll drive where we put that line.
Okay, I'll try to find some. I'll see if they have any kind of preliminary plans at all, or any kind of functional design, and if they have a time frame. I'd be surprised if they ever build an interchange there. I mean, who knows? But it'd be a lot.
Well, I would see the next thing being another bridge, more than,
right.
Right. This intersection kind of staying what it is, but going into either a dual bridge or widening the bridge that's there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, all right. So coming along, something in that area, however that ultimately ends up, I don't know. If we did this way, have to insert it back into the water line in here somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that gets you past everything. I mean, if you wanted to be fully past all the proposed boxes, come down here.
Yeah, I think we would probably take it back closer to that valve so we have a control.
Right here.
Yeah.
Would you want to come in at an angle, or are you thinking you'd?
I think
probably don't want to do like 90 it or anything.
No, we'd probably do a valve and a 45 if we could.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. All right. So, Lisa, you had mentioned in your email about the Petford Creek crossing, and I guess currently there's something that's out of service.
Yeah, originally we had a crossing at Petford Creek, and then we put in the 12-inch transmission, and we were going to take the 8-inch out of service, but we decided, well, it actually is a backup for us. So when we had the discussion with DOT early on, Brian had it with them. We did have, we knew we had two ways across Petford Creek to get water across. That creek is now that crossing is now out of service. So that the 12-inch main that you just put on that was Brian's concern, because he didn't know if y'all had made any changes whereby, because that was not there. We were talking about it and it was in the plans, but it wasn't actually physically, we were not using it when we talked with DOT the last time. So he just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that that is the way that we feed Highway 58 in that tank, and it's got to stay in service.
So that is now in service there. And okay, so I need to figure out exactly if Brian just drew this in or if this was actually surveyed in. I'll look and see. Probably, I guess if it wasn't there when they did the survey, it wasn't surveyed in. So I'll try to get that added to the survey then.
Yeah, I think it was probably sketched in. You should be able to find some valves out there for the connection back, and it's just a straight across. It is a fusible PVC installed inside a casing.
Okay.
And actually, if you're driving along, there's a dip there. We thought we had a leak, even though we had it inside of casing, and it ended up being some sort of void that is there. DOT came out to look at it and said it wasn't anything with the water line. It just was something coming from something else. But there's it voided out and the asphalt gave way.
Gotcha.
So they had to go out there and do a repair. So there's a very large patch right there.
Okay. All right. That'll be good. I'll probably be able to see that from Google Earth at least. See where that is for sure. Okay. I mean, I don't have any other questions. I mean, really, I just wanted to kind of touch base with everybody and kind of see what the plans were. Kind of try to get up to speed a little bit on it since I'm coming in green on it.
Right.
So I appreciate you guys taking the time today. Michelle, I will get you all the CAD files over so you can start what you're doing. For kind of the first thing I was trying to figure out is if any additional PUE is going to be needed to be acquired with the project from DOT. So, obviously through here there's plenty, but up at that Bojangles area, I guess if we would need anything, I guess it would be up in this area once we're back in. So I guess if we can figure out that area first, Michelle, that would be beneficial if we know there's anything we need to do there outside of the existing right of way.
It might not be a bad idea for us to have our locator meet somebody from you out there to get your stuff from Michelle, because just to make sure, because he will be able to show them taps that we've made on that side. I think we're farther down with the other stuff that we've done, but just when you know that you're planning to put something in a location, maybe let's get out there and actually meet on site to make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Michelle, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Nope, it's fine. All I was going to say is that probably a good thing for me and Brian to do is sit down maybe next week and take these plans and take our existing plans for those areas, just compare them and go take a look at it and see what we think needs to happen in that area, and then Michael, we can get back to you.
Yeah, that would be good.
What we think.
That would be good. Yeah, that would be good. I mean, I think definitely you got a potential conflict here at the box. These, I mean, I don't know. It's just sidewalk over here, so this stuff might be okay with just some adjustments. But yeah, I get to see after you've looked at it, and we'll regroup.
Yeah, and I guess my concern through that section right there is that the way the road has been widened, it looks like the water line's running right under the curb and gutter.
It is. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Typically, that doesn't bode too well for us when we go out there and try to repair it.
True. That is true. Yeah. 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 So slide that.
And that is not one of the newer lines in our system.
Okay. So just kind of going a little further with that conversation, you thinking that whole water line coming up 24 would be relocated to behind the sidewalk, kind of back here?
I don't know. That's a kind of a Brian and Lisa call, but I know that recently, I know in the past we've had like Cedar Point come in and put sidewalk ins and things like that, and that's, it's just been a mess on who's going to repair it and who's going to put it back and how to get that repaired, and then just getting in there. And obviously safety concerns with that water line being right under the curb would be, we'd have to shut down a lane on 24, which is never a fun thing.
Right.
For,
Yeah.
Brian and his crew to try to do. So
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And water breaks never happen at,
No, it'll happen
10 o'clock on Sunday morning. They happen at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So
yeah, or on July 4th.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's tons of traffic and everybody's using the water.
And a few people show up down here on the weekends, so we have to be prepared for them. But yeah, I think that's a conversation we had, and I think that's and the only reason why it would deviate from what the original plans were is because I don't think you guys were widening that far back previously.
Okay. All right.
On the administrative side, is there a letter that we can expect authorizing the East Group to, not this preliminary stuff, obviously, we're doing this because we're doing this, but when it comes down to it, is there something we can expect back from them to authorize the reimbursement for the East Group, and what type of timeline are we looking at?
I will get with DOT on that one. I expect so. So I'll get with DOT on getting that agreement and all that stuff put together.
Okay.
And I think so. I mean, I haven't looked up. I mean, I assume your community is small enough that everything is fully reimbursable.
Yeah, they always in the past, because we're a nonprofit, that hasn't been an issue. But
okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So that should be fine. I'll talk with the DOT utility coordinator and get that moving.
Okay.
So that won't hold anything up.
Yeah. Michael, who's coordinating with you on this one from DOT?
David. He wouldn't have asked me. At least I think it's David. I may have him.
David Kramer?
Yes, that is correct.
That is great. That is great.
I was wanting to say Cates. I kept wanting to say Cates, and I'm like, I know it's not David Cates.
Well, I was just looking it up. David's brother is actually a manager of Pine Shores Water Department, and so anyway, we've done several projects with David.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and David, we've done enough work with David that if we need to, if we need to do that, utility services agreement, however he's going to want us to do it, just tell him to send that, whatever he needs over to us. That's, I think when we did the work for the last widening for the turn lane that was put in down in Cedar Point, he basically just did one of those simple agreements with us, and then, we just sent you guys the invoices and you guys reviewed them and submitted them on, so.
okay.
Or whoever was doing the big project at that time.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him today. I'll see if I can't get that ball moving today. Another question before we hop off. Do you guys also handle the water over in Beaufort? Or, no? Okay.
Good luck.
I have a roundabout project over there that I've got to track down. So I was hoping it was going to be the same.
Look, they're probably doing okay. They had Frank Sansone was their person over there. I think he still contracts out to them a bit. But they literally, when I say they literally at one point in time had just a couple of guys who were the water plant operators, the meter readers, and everything they did, and then one of them retired. So they had their hands full for a little while, but they probably had enough time to recoup. But David, Frank knows where everything is over there.
Okay.
So he is retired, but I think that they have called him back a couple of times to come help out. So.
Okay. All right. Well, that's gonna be. I was really hoping I could have like 6 people on the.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna hang up, but I still need the time wise. Do you know when they're planning to do this? I won't hold you to it, but just wondering. I mean, are we talking about this year? Are we talking about next year?
It would probably no earlier than next year because they're just now moving into appraisals and stuff. So it's no earlier than next year. But I'll find out and I'll let you know.
Oh, it's no biggie. I was just looking at where we were looking at because of inspection services and stuff. Just wondering.
Yeah.
And Michael, if you can just tell us when you anticipate, like it being ready to go out for bid kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll let you know the let date. I'll in this email to you. It's on the plans that the main set of PDF plans. The let date's on there, but I just don't know what it is.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Great.
Thanks for everybody hopping on real quickly this morning. I really
no problem. Thank you.
You guys have a great
weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks,
See
David.
ya.